All right, good morning. Taking the Nike Zoom X 6s out on a long run. If it goes well, this should be the longest run of the training block leading up to Honolulu. I'm a little bit nervous. It's 31 degrees outside right now, so a little bit chilly, but that's what we got to work with. I went ahead and stashed some water basically halfway in between my out and back, so that on the way back I can refill my bottles and keep going. All right, water staged. It's actually starting to warm up, so we'll get started and we'll see how this goes. So the plan today is pretty simple. Out and back course, 10 miles out, 10 miles back. And the way I've set it up, first 10 miles uphill into the wind. We'll see how it goes, but I have a chance to turn back anytime. Made it 20 miles, 2 hours, 45 minutes or something. It's the longest run I've ever done. But 4 weeks till a marathon, so I feel like it's a pretty good place to be right now. Averaged 8:16 per mile. 1,300 feet elevation gain. All right, it's the next day. I'm feeling a whole lot better. But yeah, let's talk about that. So I left that last clip in. It's a bit embarrassing seeing myself like that kind of unhinged. That was legitimately the best I could do for that clip in terms of getting myself together and being able to talk. But I wanted to leave that in there just as kind of a reminder to do your homework and your preparation for these full marathons. You know, I'll admit, myself, I've showed up to a lot of events underprepared, bike races, running races even, but that's actually the longest I've ever run. But I've done a few runs close to that, and just from those experiences, like, you do not want to try to run a marathon without preparing. Regardless of what your pace is and what your finish time might be, you need to do your homework, because bad things can happen when you're going that far. But it is cool to see how my training has progressed in the last few weeks. You know, 2 weeks ago I did a 15 miler, and at the end of the 15 miler I was pretty much done. Last week I did a 14.5 that was about the same amount of time and felt much better. And then yesterday I didn't really start hurting until mile 18, and then the wheels really fell off between mile 18 and 20. So I've got 4 more weeks to train. I'm going to continue keeping up on the mileage, adding in different workouts, and hopefully when we get to Hawaii, you know, the preparation will pay off and we'll be able to do the full 26. Do your homework. When you see these guys online running marathons without training, they're either lying or they are hiding how much suffering they went through to get to the end of that thing. I would not recommend it. So let's get on to the shoe. I'm going to do still a full review on these shoes, so stay tuned for that. I just have a few thoughts from the 20 miler yesterday. Honestly, pretty good. So in terms of pros, I had no issues with blisters or toenail issues or any sort of problems with the upper at all. This upper is very comfortable. I did retighten it about halfway through. Basically, I just pulled from the end of the laces and I was able to get all the tension I wanted. So these didn't loosen up on me, but after about 9 miles, I just decided that they hadn't gotten tight enough in the first place. And I didn't have any heel rub issues, no heel slip, nothing like that. So comfort-wise, big pro. Outsole did good grip, didn't have any issues. And then in terms of the midsole, very protective, very cushioned. At about mile 9 or 10, I was kind of debating with myself, just feeling like this shoe is just not as poppy as the Pumas are. The Pumas just feel like they give more energy return. But mile 15 and on, that's where the Pumas started to feel jarring. Like, it's not that they break down over time, but they're firm enough and kind of jarring enough that by mile 15, you're kind of tired of that and your feet start to hurt from it. At least that's my experience. But with these, I felt very comfortable the whole way, and they just feel like a very good cruisy shoe. They don't feel snappy. This bottom SRO2 foam definitely feels dense. I wish it was all Zoom X. And then mile 18 through 20, when I was really suffering, these shoes felt very protective, and I was grateful to have them on. And then the plate in them, like I said before, is not super stiff. And when I did run off trail or off pavement and I was on kind of two tracks and trails and such, you know, it honestly didn't really get in my way. It felt like a very normal shoe. Not necessarily like a trail shoe, but like a normal shoe. Whereas with the Pumas and some stiffer plate shoes, you know, you get this kind of like wrenching feeling because they're so stiff laterally. So you step on a rock and it kind of jerks you over. Didn't get that with the Nikes at all. So that was great. I really wish this upper and this width was on the Pumas. But in terms of just being able to get the marathon done and having a shoe that's going to be protective, I feel like the Zoomfly 6 is going to be the best option for me right now. And it does make me feel like I might want to try an Alphafly because I just felt like everything was so good. I wanted more of the bouncy Zoom X. But yeah, I need to do more runs at more paces. That was a very steady, like very, very evenly paced run. It worked really well for that run yesterday, honestly. Like I say, Honolulu's coming up in 4 weeks. I am super nervous. Honestly, it scares me to run a full. And then Mesa is 2 months after that. So we'll see how Hawaii goes and then start training for Mesa. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments down below and tell me what is your favorite marathon shoe for that 3:30 to 3:45 time bracket.